Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War Fist of Fury event, in which the Fist of Zorn is added to the game. So let's get into that. As far as its trait stones, it is an epic, so you can get them for 200 glory each for each of the arcanes. Very useful. You can use it early on in the game for things like Miststalker, Horned Asp, and Sunbird, particularly Sunbird. And later on in the game, you could use it for things like Queen, Titania, as well as any of the mythics that end up using it, as well as Umberwolf for soul farming. As far as the troop itself, it is very, very good. Possibly even top 20 in the entire game. It'll have some interesting synergies, that's for sure. It is the first instance where we can do first turn skull spam guarantee. It converts all yellow gems to skulls and then gives the some attack to first ally. It's also one of the only few that can attack buff in that way, while simultaneously doing skulls, which is pretty good. Some other options include courage as well as a mythic, and I think there might be one other option, but for the most part, there aren't too many things that do that, especially that quickly. It gets to do it on turn 1. It has empowered, so you can do it immediately. That basically means first turn skull spam, as long as you have some kind of alignment, and synergizing this with other skull spams mean you're going to get a lot of skull spam very quickly. And this could lead to a lot of skull meta related stuff finally coming back, simply because you might be able to win very quickly in PvP now. I don't really feel like this will be used anywhere other than PvP, just because it's probably going to be too inconsistent against things that have way higher stats, but for quick PvP winning, it's probably going to be pretty useful, that's for sure. So definitely a great troop to go and get maxed, not just for the useful trait stone, but also just to get the troop fully maxed out itself. So, as far as the event objectives, we have 10%, or actually we also have this. This is still going on from last Friday. I believe it ends on either Thursday reset or Friday reset. It doesn't actually have a timer here, it just says 6 days. But we still get 5 extra glory every single time we kill a Phoenicia in PvP, which does somewhat synergize with what the event objective actually is. 10% to all Groshnoks, 10% to all Orcs. We get an additional 5 glory every single time we use Fist of Zorn, so you probably want to be using Skull Spam in PvP this week, as you could potentially be getting 10 whole additional glory per battle, and even more if you set +1 on your hero class and just other factors, so you can get a lot of glory this week just from farming out PvP. And other than that, farming, killing yellows in PvP or Explore will end up giving you a lot of the event gems. Ideally, you would just do this in PvP, given how many other events stuff synergizes with it. However, you could just farm something like White Helm and get a lot of yellow kills that way. Other than that, if you are still interested in Tina, she is still in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest. She will be available until Friday reset, so you have until the end of Thursday in order to go get that. So if you're still interested in her, she's still available for several more days. And if you're not interested in her, make sure to wait until at least Friday before you open any of your Glory Gem Guild or VIP chests, or all of your mythic drops will be another copy of her. Anyways, other stuff. As far as the event key drop table this week, ignore it. There is basically nothing of value to really go and obtain from Groshnok from an event key standpoint, so I wouldn't really bother. It's a good week to just skip and not spend any event keys. As far as the guild event, we of course have raids, and since it's a Groshnok event, that means we are restricted to only Groshnok troops. That does limit us quite a bit, but this is what we're going to be running with. We have, of course, the new raid troop that ended up coming in, the Borgok. You can end up running a similar team to this with the new weapon as well. I actually completely forget. It was something mace. I'm just typing mace. Should come up. There it is, spiked mace. But you can end up using it with this. Creates red and brown, which are two of the bigger colors that troops from this kingdom end up needing. So you can end up using this. Unfortunately, there's no way to set your hero to a Groshnok troop, as there's currently no Groshnok hero class. But you could just set it to something like Titan or anything else that you might want to say here in order to just simply get yourself the mana that you end up needing a little bit quicker. Other than that, we end up having ourselves the raid troop. He's pretty standard, pretty much just like any other raid troop. He gets a little bit of a boost ratio based on how many skulls are on the board, but other than that, it plays out the exact same as any raid troop. You basically throw Mang or a Mang-like weapon on boss, you then hit it with this, and then you kill out the rest of the team with your really high attack or whatever other method you're using. We do have skull spam here immediately or whenever we want, maybe after we cast Mang with the Fist of Zorn. And other than that, we have Garnock here for the brown-red creation, kind of like what our hero would have done, except slightly different. And other than that, he also gets a summon on top of that, and most of his summons do include red or brown, since most orcs are red or brown, at least one of the two, sometimes even both. So, yeah, that'll be pretty useful for the most part. Other than that, we also get a half mana start to everything else that doesn't naturally have half mana start, simply because the orc bonus that we have on him. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we're running with, just running with a double red because there's not a good minus blue banner. with the double red. So, yeah, pretty much just running this. Go and throw Mang down immediately on the balls. Kill it with the poke off the raid troop. Throw in skull spam whenever we might need it. And that is pretty much the whole premise here. I'm going to go for red right off the bat. It looks like we get a barrier off the top, so we don't even take any damage. Nice. A bunch of purple there I do not currently need. We'll go grab that, get the full mana on the boss, so we can just go and one-shot it now. We'll simply go use Mang, then we throw the boss killing troop. I'm actually going to take a skull here just because he's nowhere near casting. He doesn't even have a single mana yet, so we'll go do that. And now we'll try skull spamming if we can get alignment. Oh, we almost had it. Well, we have absolutely no alignment now, so I'll wait on that. We, of course, have yellow into skull convert on that. But if we don't have any alignment, then not really worth casting. So let's take a yellow for now. It doesn't look like he's going to give it to us this particular battle, but I do have some teams to show with it, so we'll get to still see it, even if it doesn't pop up here. What else do we still need? I don't want to give him that skull. If anything, I wanted to bait him into giving us that skull. I guess we'll take that red there for now. Try for the red off the top, didn't end up getting it. He's going to hit us with that. Not much I could really do about that. Still nothing I can even convert for one single skull, and he just denied all my yellow. That's annoying. It gets to choose, too. The AI actually chose the correct color for once. Yeah, it does get to choose the color. The figures he would take the one we actually need. Of course. Oh, well. At this point, we could just go desperate and kill it with Mang into the Ray Troop if we truly had to. We have plenty enough attack if we could ever get a skull. Thank you. And there we go. But yeah, something along the lines of that would end up working out pretty well. Definitely a good time to have Garnock if you do happen to have him. He's in the event queue drop table if you truly needed him for this event. But most of the orcs don't really get ran most of the time. There's not a good hero class to synergize with them. Well, there's no hero class to synergize with them. And I don't know, orcs just seem a little bit underwhelming. There's a lot of stuff that do skulls better than them, other than Fist of Zorn. But most orcs are pretty average when it comes to skull, even though they do have a lot of attack gains and rage. But overall, that's pretty much all you have to do. Just run a Mang and run pretty much any orcs that you have that can end up synergizing with it. It's pretty much the bottom line. And you would definitely want to use, of course, the Raid Troop and Fist of Zorn, which both should be pretty obtainable since you'll get this during the event if you end up buying enough packs. And Fist of Zorn, you can just simply get for a low amount of glory. The only thing you might not have is Garnock, in which case you could replace it out with Cyclops or any other somewhat decent orc there. Though ideally, Garnock fully traded would be helpful for the half mana start. Anyways, let's take our tribute because it's blinking at us and go over to the games this week as far as all of our event-related stuff. We have Warrens this Tuesday. Warrens is the best faction to farm currently within the game. It has 1 guaranteed treasure room and 2 half treasure rooms. It also is tied at the lowest amount of distance that a treasure room has from the very first room to get to it, which means it could have 3 Cedric rooms, making it really, really useful for farming a bunch of gold as well as just farming in general. It also ends up getting arcanes off the very last battle, so you'll pretty much have infinite green-yellow just from farming this faction, which is pretty interesting. But anyways, other than that, do be mindful if you are camping this at a lower level, like let's say if you're trying to camp level 20 for your main faction or level 90 or whatever you happen to be doing with your main faction in the underworld, do be mindful that anything that you do within the event will go over. So for example, if we go to 150 during the event, this will no longer be at 110, it will be all the way at 150, 160. So do be careful because it will raise over your cap if you are farming this specific faction. Other than that, this Wednesday we have the mini mushroom, the one that gives purple magic. For 4 times purple. This Thursday we have a Warlord class event. It's one of the first hero classes. Most people probably have it maxed because they set it immediately and then forget they even have a hero class set. But if you need more EXP on that, that will be available this Thursday. And other than that, this Friday we are getting a new faction. That new faction will be bringing in the Cursed mechanic, which is basically the inverse of Blessed. Basically what Cursed does is it gets rid of all positive status effects onto the enemy. It also gets rid of all immunities on the enemy, so if they have Impervious, it still hits them. The only thing that it doesn't negate is Indestructible, but everything else like Impervious, Stun, any other immunity that there is out there, it will end up overriding, which is pretty nice. And on top of all of that, it also halves the chance that Natural Cleanse will occur. So normally, everything except poison has a 10% cumulative chance that it will cleanse, 10%, 20%, 30%, and so forth. But while they are cursed, it is half. So it's only 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, and so forth by 5% each time as turns progress. So essentially, abilities or status effects, negative status effects, should last, in theory, about twice as long while they are cursed. So quite a bit of benefits on cursed. None of them are going to be exceptionally good at placing cursed, but they will still have the mechanic, and it'll be the first instance of 100% chance of being able to use it. Anyways, other than that, Soulforge, we do have a few things that are somewhat okay to go craft. The main one I'd probably say is Ketris overall. Ketris the Bull not only used for a good kingdom upgrade, but it also has, it's just useful in general. You throw it on second slot, you throw it on fourth slot, and you pretty much kill. It's also pretty good in Tower of Doom, especially if you have a good HP buffer, attack buffer, or armor buffer, ideally life, but any of the three would still end up working. And essentially, you just go and give him a few buffs, you throw it on second, throw him on fourth, and he just won the battle in most situations. And that's pretty much how you play him out. He works pretty much good in every game mode. You can use him in PvP, you can use him in Guild Wars, you can use him for Delves, you can use him for Tower of Doom. There's pretty much everywhere he'll end up working. He's pretty average for all of them, but still ends up getting the job done. But yeah, great mythic to have overall. Other than that, as far as legends are concerned, Kraken is pretty decent. I don't know if I would really go out of my way just to craft a legend, but is one of the better Devour options in the game at a 35%, plus it's somewhat loopable with the fact that it can create blue, and you can just create blue into something that can create its own mana, and just keep looping its mana over and over again to try to keep attacking. It also ends up getting 12 damage per extra turn, assuming the enemy has all of their troops. So it's getting 14 in total value, too, because of its life every extra turn, and 12 damage overall, assuming they have 4 troops. So it gets a lot of extra turn value as well, which is one of the reasons why it tends to be a little bit more useful. Great as something to set as a Guild War defend. I don't think too many major teams end up using it these days, but it's still a pretty decent troop. Other than that, some other ones you might want to concern are just Queen Aurora, Yasmin, and Chief Stronghorn. Queen Aurora, basically just standard mana generator. Yasmin is an okay Entangle option, plus it is required to 10-star First of Thorns. And other than that, there's Chief Stronghorn, which I wouldn't really advise crafting, but if you basically want a version of Ketris that HP buffs, or and all those other same buffs, same exact stuff that he has, Ketris, the only main difference is that it's only a single target, so it doesn't do as much damage, not even close, but still, it's the closest alternative you really have to a Ketris, if you cannot afford a Ketris during some of those events. Though I would just say wait till Ketris for the most part. He's very, very rarely used, only for Tower of Doom ever so occasionally, just on blue and brown Tower of Doom sometimes. If you have literally no other option. But yeah, I would say mainly Ketris as far as what's craftable this week. So let's go head over to PvP and test this thing out. So this mythic is or not mythic, it feels like a mythic though. This epic is potentially really, really good. I haven't had a huge amount of time to test it yet, but there are a lot of things it's going to be useful for. It can just first turn skulls. It alone is really good. I kind of want to take that 5 times brown, but I also want to take first turn skulls here. Oh no, what's the dilemma that we go for? So we're also using another combination that you may notice here. This team might seem a little bit weird at first, but we are currently using Dragon Guard hero class. Reason for this, you could also use Warlord hero class. Anything that has triple damage to burning. So basically what we do here is we get an extra turn, and then we'll hit triple damage, because we end up placing burn with our Infernus here. So it'll allow us to basically always be able to hit triple damage onto the enemy. So I'm going to go for this 5 times here. Even though it undoes our alignment, we get it right back, so perfect. And now you can see they're all burned, which means we get 3 times the damage. Not only that, we also have 20% extra damage based on all of our armor, which is... Oh, I can't do that math off the top of my head. Let's see. That's like, what, 15, kind of? 12? Somewhere's around there. It's about 10 damage or so. 12, yeah, 12 sounds about right. But we're getting a little bit extra damage there. That also gets tripled. So we're doing around, what, 210 damage or so? And that is basically one shot on everything. So as you'll see, it'll just melt completely to these. Oh, we accidentally got like so many simultaneously that we didn't get as many taps there. But we did get the 1 kill. We can go for another tap right there. He'll take a skull. We'll hopefully get alignment again. Oops, I forgot that red. He'll take 1. And every skull we take at this point will one-shot him. So we'll do that. Hopefully that'll give us a skull alignment somewhere that we could take. No, it does not. We'll just throw Infernus at him and follow up with either another Infernus or any tap at this point. And as you can see, it works out somewhat decently. Ideally, we wouldn't have gotten as big of a clump. Ideally, you want to be getting like an extra turn into an extra turn into an extra turn. You don't want to take them all at once. Otherwise, you're going to extremely overkill them. As you can see, we get another alignment. It's still our turn. We can take another one-shot skull from there. And yeah, it ends up working out really nice. You don't need Possessed King there. You do somewhat need Infernus because, of course, this whole team is running over the premise of we burn them and then we do triple damage. So Infernus is a bit required. However, you can just replace that Possessed King for any mana generation option, or even a skull spamming option if you want. And as far as a cheaper team in general, one that does not end up using any mythics, is Mountain Crusher, Mercy, Divine Ishbala, and Fist of Zorn. Divine Ishbala, something that normally doesn't get ran unless it's ran with Divines. However, both of these two converts are very useful. It ends up converting some skulls onto the board, and it ends up creating some yellow onto the board, both of which are useful for Fist of Zorn because it creates skulls, and it ends up converting yellows into skulls, So basically, everything that Divine Ishbala do is feeding right into what Fist of Zorn needs. It's a little bit of a mixed match because we have, like, colors feeding into colors that we will no longer have. Oops, I did not mean to do this battle. Oh no, we're up against an annoying Lust team. Hopefully he doesn't get any kills here. We should be able to survive just because Mercy does feed mana into the weakest. So hopefully Lust won't just randomly kill us here. This team is actually not made to kill out the Lust team, but it does look like we have alignment, so we'll go for this. I am using Assassin class with this. This is not required. You can use pretty much any hero class you really want. Main reason for the Assassin is, as you can see there, we have a 10% chance per kill to end up getting, or per skull, I mean. Or sorry, wait. Yeah, it's 10% per skull. 10% per skull that we end up getting a instant kill on their last slot. Other than that, we also have a 7% chance per kill that we also end up getting a kill on last slot. It also has some dodge, so we don't end up dying in first slots, and it also has Hunter's Mark, which allows us to do 2x skull damage, which, as you saw, allowed us to kill that team out pretty quickly. So yeah, that's pretty much what that does. Let me go show it again. That went a little bit too quickly to even really properly show it. But let's not do it against Firebomb. Oh, that's such a good battle, though. Okay, we'll do it against Firebombs real quick. I can't not do it against that team. It's a revenge rival with 3 Firebombs. That's just asking to be fought. So we'll just go do our convert there. Get a Divine Ishbala because that puts so many yellows on the board that then allows us to skull spam and basically kill out his entire team. We might kill him before he even gets to do anything. Let's see, do we have any alignment here? It doesn't look like it. Unfortunately, with everything we have, none of it can actually do anything here. So I'm going to do a weird move just because he's using Firebombs anyways. We're just going to do that. Even if he kills our hero, that's not too big a deal. And hey, we got a bandit off of it. And it feels, it's like it's still a 100% chance sometimes. But we'll just throw some skull spam. Doesn't really matter what we do too much as long as we... Actually, if anything, I should almost not be giving him skulls since he's just using firebombs at this point. Oh, we'll get our kill there, let him firebomb one more time, and then let's just do this one last time just so we could actually get like a mid-range speed battle instead of some of these easier ones. There we go. Okay. So, come on, something that's useful here. What do we have? No, firebombs again. Okay, I'm dodging this one. It's not Revenge Rival. Let's go into this one that has a lot of frontline tanks. It's actually a 4x Knight team. Don't normally see that too often in endgame. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's 4x Human? No, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is. I forgot. He's still human. They end up changing his other aspect, not the fact that he's human. But, interesting. That is a little bit dangerous because he does get a quick core Vash, so that could get in the way of us slightly. And he's probably going to get that down as well. I don't have any good counter to it, especially with our Mercy right up there with full mana. But as long as we deny his Brown, we should be fine. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do much to that. So let's take a Brown here. Assassin is a little bit bad in that I believe it has still the lowest durability of any hero class in the game. So that's something holding it back a little bit, but I believe we just got the team rolling, so we should be able to win just here. We'll throw a Skull Spam off of that. That will allow us to throw a Skull Spam again, keep getting our Hunter's Mark, so we keep doing 2x damage. We keep getting freeze off this particular hero class as well. We're not frozen on anything, so we can just move that, take our Skull again, take another Skull and throw that into, ideally, you. We have our alignment. We don't have your mana, though. We could end up using Mountain Crusher for that, if we even end up needing it. Somehow that does not have Hunter's Mark. I guess we'll throw a Mountain Crusher for now, clear out the board, get our Mercy and or Divine Ishbala. Whichever one looks better at the moment, which looks like Divine Ishbala, throw that into the other one, and that should pretty much be matched right there. And as you can see, that's pretty much how the team runs down. There's probably many other teams to roll with it as well, but that's personally just what I found so far that seems to work. Really good in general trying to put it into Divine Ishbala, is simply because both of its 2 converts do tend to work pretty well with it. Other than that, only other thing to really mention is this Thursday, of course, we do have the Warlord class event. As far as best team to run for, it is Dawnbringer, triple Gob Chomper, and then just switching into Mang. However, if you need alternatives, you can end up putting Flame Troll there, and instead of using Mang, you can use an AoE weapon for the first 4, one that includes red because you're using Flame Troll, and then end up switching into Mang for the rest of the time, and just use something along the lines of that. You don't really have too many options. Basically, the only options are Dawnbringer, triple Goblin Chomper, or a red AoE weapon into Mang, using those weapons with Flame Troll, double Gob Chomper. And that's pretty much all your options that you have for this week. There's only these 7, most of them are pretty bad, and of these 7, these 2 are the only particularly relevant ones for the most part. So unfortunately, not really too much to run this Thursday, but that's what you would run if you were to run it. But anyways, guys, that's everything for this event video. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Best of luck with the next faction, and I will see you all later. Goodbye, everyone!